So let's take a look at the distribution by length dashboard. To open the query builder, we click on this funnel in the far right corner. And let's say the client's in the Second Circuit in the Eastern District of New York in a fraud case. So we'll take the standard guideline, 2B 1.1, criminal history 1, offense level 19. And it's a guilty plea, and the client isn't a cooperator, so he didn't receive credit for 5K 1.1. You could also choose loss, restitution, but here we'll just run the query, and we're clicking on this button in the far right-hand corner. And then we get a distribution. 52 cases. Now at level 19, the guidelines are 30 to 37 months. Level 19, criminal history 1. But here, in this graph, you can see that most cases are actually lower than 30 months. And that's the kind of thing you'd like to show a judge. Now, to get an idea of exactly how many cases are below 30 months, you can look at this table beneath the graph. First, we go to the bottom just to make sure we're seeing everything. 100%. And here in this far left column, we've got the sentence length by months, the percent of total, the amount of cases, the percentage of cases that are at this position in this distribution, the number of cases at that position in the distribution, and then the cumulative percentage of cases running down each line. You can change the order so that instead of starting at 0 months, you could start at the highest value, which in this distribution is 36 months, just by clicking here on these arrows. And then you see that the cumulative percentage of cases rises at a different rate, of course, but ends in 100. But let's go back to having it from 0, from the smallest to the greatest. And we can see that we get over 50% as early as 18 months, even though, again, the advisory guidelines range is 30 to 37 months. 56% of cases are at 18 months or less. And 79% of cases are at 26 months or less, meaning still under the guidelines. Now, all of this is reflected in the graph, but we can highlight it better for the court by shading certain regions and then writing on them. And the way that we can shade these regions is by clicking on this crayon icon here, which has the hover text edit the report, and opening up this regions editor. These are the shaded regions. We can add them with a plus, and we can get rid of them with a minus. So let's add a region that shows the cases that are at 18 months or less, that 56%. Now we can change the color by clicking here in this colored square near the eyedropper. And we can make it lighter by moving this circle inside the rectangle. We could change its opacity also down here at this bottom slider. And we can change what part of the color spectrum. Maybe we want something that's more blue. And then we apply it. And if you don't like it, you can go back in, change it a little bit more, till you're happy. Now let's add a second region. And to change the color of that region, you scroll down and you can see a third region would be below this even. But here at the second region, we click inside the square near the eyedropper. And let's say we want to make this more gray, because we're going to use this to show the advisory guidelines range. There we are. We clicked apply. Then it's just, again, a click and drag to move the region. And now it's at the guidelines range. And we can close the regions editor by clicking this crayon icon again. And then by clicking on this clipboard icon, we can cut and paste it into a Google Doc or into Word, Microsoft Word. Now, that will only work in the two most popular browsers, Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. If you're a Firefox fan, I'm sorry, it probably won't work. But in Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, you have no problem cutting and pasting that graph directly into Word. And then you can just refine it and edit it the way you would any object in Word. See, I just cropped it. Now let's say I want to insert a text box so I can start labeling this. Let's say I want to tell them that 56% of cases are at 18 months or less. Bring this box in front of text, get rid of the fill, get rid of the outline. Maybe I center it. Remove the space. Shrink the box and then move it on to the graph. And just to finish this off, I'll put in another text box to show the guidelines range. Go back and do the other word formatting that I want. Bring down the font size so I know it'll fit. Put it in front of the text. Get rid of the fill. Get rid of the outline. And just set up my graph the way I want it to look for the court in a brief or declaration or both. Now, if I go back into the Empirical Justice web app and I want to run another query, I just clear all and then run that other query. So let's say we want to look at drug cases in the First Circuit, 2D 1.1, level 20, and I run the query. I've got my distribution again. Now I still have these old ranges, these shaded regions, but I can get rid of them by reopening the regions editor and just clicking the minus. And then I can add new regions or not, however I want to make the graph look. And I'm ready to go. And finally, if I want, I can print this page, either on paper or a PDF, just by clicking that printer icon.